Hello everyone, Namaste. Welcome back to my channel Academic Tuber. Today we are going to discuss chapter 4 from grade 9 science, that is evolution. Before that, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe this channel and for more updates hit the bell icon. If you want more videos related to this, please like and do share these videos among your friends and don't forget to give your valuable response in comment section. We know that the Earth is the habitat of millions of living things, from unicellular microscopic organisms to the gigantic species. According to the scientists, life was originated on the Earth about 2000 million years ago in its marine water. Then slowly they evolved into more developed and more complex form to the higher and more complex form. Evolution. It is the gradual and continuous change of living organisms from simpler form to higher and more complex form. There are many hypotheses propounded by many scientists about the origin of the creatures on the earth, but none of them are fully satisfactory. The hypotheses can be grouped into following three groups. First, theory of special creation. Second, theory of spontaneous generation. Third, theory of organic evolution. Theory of special creation. According to the theory of special creation, life was created by supernatural power of God. God created all the plants and animals which appeared on the earth in the form they exist today. This theory is based on faith. It has no scientific evidence, therefore it is not widely accepted. Theory of spontaneous generation. This theory says that living things were originated from non-living substances by spontaneous generation. This theory was given by Anaximander and Aristotle. They thought that fish and frog originated from mud, rats from garbage, insects from plant sap, ants from sugar, and microorganisms from air and water spontaneously. Later, this theory was rejected by scientists like Louis Pasteur, Francisco Redi, performing various experiments. Modern concept of origin of life. This was given by Russian scientist Oparin and later supported by his contemporary English co-worker Haldane. It says that life was originated from non-living substances slowly by the chemical evolution followed by the biological evolution. At first, macromolecules like protein, carbohydrate, fat, ammonia, etc. were formed from the micromolecules like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, etc. Then they formed protoplasm, which was the first living basis of life. The process of forming living substances from non-living substances is termed as abiogenesis. Then the cells become more and more complex, leading to the evolution. This evidence shows that the evolution has taken place, so this hypothesis has been accepted to some extent. Evidences of evolution. Evidence from the study of fossils or paleontology. Evidence from comparative morphology and anatomy. Embryological evidences. Evidence from the study of vestigial organs. Evidence from geographical distribution of organisms. Evidence from the connecting links. Evidence from fossils or paleontological evidence. Fossils are the traces or the remnants of dead plants and animals preserved on the earth's crust. The study of fossils is called paleontology. The age of fossils is determined with the help of carbon dating and its radioactivity. The process of estimating the age of rock with the help of carbon-12 isotopes is called carbon dating. Fossil provides us evidence about the organisms that lived long ago, such as time period they lived, their structure, etc. Evolutionary development of species, that is, line of their development. Connecting links between two groups, for example, feathers present in some dinosaurs mean that birds were closely related to reptiles. Which organisms evolved earlier and which later? Development of complex body designs from the simple body designs. Evidence from comparative morphology and anatomy. It is studied under following two headings: homologous organ and analogous organs. Homologous organs. The organs in different organisms which have the same origin and basic structure but have different functions are called homologous organs. Example: forelimbs of humans, flipper of whales, wings of birds, forelimb of horses, patagium of bats, etc., have the same structure as all of them comprises of humerus, radius, ulna, carpels, metacarpals, and phalanges. But they have different functions, like the flippers of whales are used to swim, the wings of birds are used to fly, and we use our hands for catching, grasping, holding, etc. The presence of homologous organs in different organisms suggests that these organisms evolved from the same ancestors. Analogous organs. The organs in different organisms which have the different origin and basic structure but have the same function are called analogous organs. Example, wings of birds, bats, insects, etc. The study of analogous organs tells us that insects and birds are evolved from two different ancestral blocks. It also suggests that living beings modify their body structure according to the habitat and condition where they live. It shows the mechanism of evolution. The presence of analogous organ in different organisms suggests that these animals are evolved from the different ancestors. Wings of insects, wings of birds, wings of bats, they have the same function, that is to fly, but they have different origin. Evidence from embryo or embryological evidences. An embryo is a developed zygote. It is a very small and primitive structure. It is formed from the mitosis cell division of zygote. It gives rise to a young one. In very early stages, the embryo of some vertebrates are so similar that we cannot distinguish them. Later on, they gradually grow different and turn into different organisms. For example, the embryo of fish, tortoise, hen, rabbit, and humans are similar in their early stages, which proves that these organisms have the same ancestors. Evidence from geographical distribution of organisms. The earth has many geographical structures like ocean, rivers, mountain, desert, etc. When an organism grows in a new place with different climatic conditions, then it acquires new features in their body, which are inherited from generation to generation. And finally, this leads to origin of an entirely different species. It suggests us that the organisms found in the similar climatic condition may be different if they have different origin. Also, the organisms of the same origin reach different places with climatic diversity. They may change themselves and become different from each other. Evidence from the study of vestigial organs. Those organs which are functionless and are present as reduced structure in the body are called vestigial organs. A number of vestigial organs are found in different organisms: vermiform appendix, nictitating membrane, muscles of external ear, hairs on body, segmented muscles on the abdomen, canine teeth, tail vertebrae, etc. are the examples of such organs in human. These organs are well developed in other lower forms, but in higher animals they are in the extinct condition. These vestigial organs indicate that human ancestors were herbivores, having thick hair on a body. They had a tail and could move their ears. Thus, vestigial organs prove that all the present organisms came into existence through the process of evolution. Evidence from connecting links or bridge animals. There were some organisms which come into existence on the earth. It serves as a connecting group between two different groups of organisms. Such animals are called connecting links. The study of fossils of these organisms prove this fact. Archaeopteryx is a connecting link or bridge animal between birds and reptiles. It has wings, a beak, and body covered with feathers like those of birds, but has teeth and claws like those of reptiles. A dog-billed platypus is a connecting link between mammals and birds, as it has a beak and oviparous like those of birds, but has mammary glands and body covered with fur like those of animals. It suggests that amphibians are evolved from Pisces, birds from reptiles, and mammals from birds. So here is one question from the topic connecting links. Archaeopteryx is called connecting link between reptile and birds. Why? Archaeopteryx is called connecting link between reptile and birds because it has both the characters of birds and reptiles. reptilian characters, presence of teeth, claws, scales on body and tail vertebrae, boss-like character, presence of wings, beak, and a body covered with feathers. Theories of evolution. Many theories of evolution have been put forth by different scientists at different times supporting evolution. Among them, the popular theories of evolution are Lamarck's theory of evolution or Lamarckism, Darwin's theory of evolution or Darwinism, theory of mutation. Lamarck's theory of evolution or Lamarckism. This theory was proposed by a French biologist, Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck. His theory was popularly known as the Lamarckism, which can be described into following 3 points. Effect of environment and new fields or direct environmental effect. According to Lamarck, environmental factors affect directly the mode of life of an organism. Due to the change in the environmental conditions, living things need change for adjustment. These changes are inherited and finally a completely different organism is originated. Change through use and disuse, that is, use and disuse of organs. According to Lamarck, when organs are used continuously, then they become more developed and their size increases, whereas if they are not used completely, then they slowly reduce in size and finally disappear. For example, long-necked giraffe developed from the short-necked giraffe because of continuous stretching of their neck. Similarly, snakes lost their limbs because they didn't use it during crawling. Inheritance of acquired character. The character gained by living beings during their lifetime are acquired character. Example, wrestlers and athletes make their body strong due to continuous exercise. People learn to sing, dance, swim, etc. in their lifetime as the acquired characters. According to Lamarck, these acquired characters are transferred from generation to generation until a completely different species is produced. He explained this with an example of a blacksmith. A blacksmith has strong arms due to the nature of their work. He proposed that any children of blacksmith concepts will inherit the development of strong muscles. Criticism or objection of Lamarckism. The change in the structure of a body by use and disuse of organs has not proved experimentally. It is absolutely incorrect that new organs can be formed according to the will of organisms. All acquired characters are not inherited to the next generation. Weismann caught the tail of rats and bred. This experiment was repeated for more than 21 generations, but still the rats were born with tails. Thus, Lamarck could not experimentally prove that the use and disuse of organs can modify them. Darwin's theory of evolution or Darwinism. This theory was given by English naturalist Charles Darwin in 1857 AD. Darwinism is also called theory of natural selection. He wrote a book, Origin of Species, in 1859 AD, in which he explained the following points. Enormous power of fertility or overproduction. Every living organism has the power to reproduce rapidly, hence there is a danger of population overrunning the food and other facilities. As a result, there are chances of elimination of a number of individuals because the available resources are less, and that has resulted in competition among organisms, where every organism tries to be better than the other. Darwin suggested that the population of each species remain more or less constant because offspring place in good number before themselves becoming capable of reproduction. Struggle for existence. After coming to the earth, organisms should survive for many factors like food, shelter, environmental condition, etc. for their existence. Overpopulation resulted in the struggle which Darwin called the struggle for existence. The competition of food and shelter may be intraspecific or interspecific. An intra-specific competition occurs among the members of same species like deer to deer, leopard with leopard, but the inter-specific competition is different. It is the competition between two different species like deer with leopards. Not only for food, organisms must struggle with the environment and nature for their survival. variation and heredity. During the competition, every individual tries to become better and show variation, but all the variation are not significant from the evolutionary point of view. Some may be useful and some harmful. The useful variation are inherited in the progeny of those organisms in which they arose, and therefore the progeny have better chances of survival. Survival of the fittest or natural selection. During the struggle for existence, only those individuals which are better adapted to the environment and shown favorable variation are selected. The less fit and unfit individuals are rejected by nature. Darwin stated that the variation are sorted out naturally. Therefore, the organisms which sort out such variation are said to be fittest. At the time of natural selection, only these organisms survive which have favorable or suitable variation, and other dies. Origin of species. According to Darwin, new variation appears in every generation and get inherited to the new generation. As a result, the offspring are distinct from their ancestor. This results in the formation of new species. Gradual modification of the existing species leading to the formation of new species is known as specification. According to Darwin, in the course of variation, natural selection, and inheritance, the organisms go on becoming different from their parents continuously, and ultimately a new type of species is formed. This is called the origin of new species. Criticism or objection of Darwinism. It does not explain how variation occurs. It does not explain occurrence of vestigial organs in the body of living organisms. Only the useful variation are not selected. Only the natural selection is not the use of specification, speciation, but mutation may also lead to the origin of new species. Mutation theory. This theory was propounded by a Dutch scientist Hugo de Vries in 1901 AD. It says that appearing the large number of variations suddenly and spontaneously in the offspring is the cause of evolution. The mutation is defined as a sudden and heritable change in the hereditary constitution of organisms. An organism affected by mutation is called a mutant, and the causes of mutation are called mutagens. An example of mutation are 6-finger limbs, disability of person by birth, cut on leaves, etc. Hugo de Vries' mutation theory can be summarized as follows. The origin of new species occur either through mutation or discontinuous variation. New characters are seen suddenly in the organism due to mutation. Mutation is the basis of evolution. All mutation can be inherited in the next generation. Criticism on Hugo de Vries' theory. It cannot give definite direction to evolution. It does not explain the role of nature or environment in mutation. Mutations are generally recessive characters. Effects of mutation on evolution. Beneficial mutation. Some mutations have a positive effect on the organism in which they occur. They are called beneficial mutation. Mutation in many bacteria that allow them to survive in the presence of antibiotic drugs. The mutation leads to antibiotic resistant strains of bacteria. Neutral mutation. Some mutations have neither positive impact nor harmful impact on organisms. They are called neutral mutation. Negative mutation. If the protein formed by the change in DNA is in insufficient amount, it performs work partially and harms the organism. The mutation which causes such changes is called harmful mutation. It can cause genetic disorder or even cancer. The variation in the organism due to the change in their gene is called blastogenic variation. It is inherited from one generation to other. That means it can be transferred from parents to offspring. So here are some questions from this unit. Why is vermiform appendix in human body called vestigial organs? Vermiform appendix in human body are called vestigial organs because it is functionless and reduced organ in human body. The removal of these organs after infancy does not create any harm. It is in a well-developed form in herbivores. How does the evolution of long-necked giraffe takes according to the Lamarckism? According to the Lamarckism, the present long-necked giraffe has evolved from the ancestral short-necked giraffes. When there was the lack of food in the ground, the giraffe tried to survive by eating the leaves of trees by the continuous stretching of their neck. Due to this, in next generation, the giraffe were produced with a long neck. This continuous use of their organs and inheritance of the variation leads finally to the giraffe with long neck. In what way homologous organ gives evidence for evolution? Homologous organs are the organs in different organisms which have the same basic structure and origin but different functions. For example, the forelimbs of humans, the wings of birds, the forelimb of horses, etc. The same basic structure of these organs shows that the birds, humans, and horses were evolved from the common ancestor and hence it supports evolution. How vestigial organs provide evidence for organic evolution? Structures that have lost their use through evolution are called vestigial structures. They provide evidence for evolution because they suggest that an organism changed from using the structure not using the structure or using it for a different purpose. Fossils are the strongest evidence of evolution. How? Fossils give information on the past organisms that came into existence on the earth, as the fossils are the remnant of them. New technology like carbon dating and uranium dating helps to know their age too. Thus, we can also find out the time when they existed, the climatic condition of that period, etc. By studying fossils, scientists have traced the evolutionary history of animals like horses, dogs, cats, camels, and human beings. So fossils are the strongest evidence of evolution. Haeckel said that ontogeny repeats phylogeny. Why? Haeckel said that the ontogeny repeats phylogeny because the development of an organism's ontogeny expresses evolutionary history and all the immediate forms of its ancestor, that is phylogeny. Difference between heredity and variation. Heredity. It is the transmission of a unique set of characters from parents to their offspring, whereas variation is the observation of different characters among individuals in a particular species. Heredity. It is not responsible for diversity among organisms, whereas variation it is responsible for diversity among organisms. Heredity has no influence on evolution, whereas variation it leads to evolution. Difference between continuous variation and discontinuous variation. Continuous variation has a predictable direction, whereas discontinuous variation it is unpredictable. Example of continuous variation include height, weight, heart rate, finger length, leaf length, etc. Whereas the example of discontinuous variation include tongue rolling, fingerprints, eye color, and blood groups. Continuous variation is more common type of genetic variation, whereas discontinuous variation it is the simplest form of genetic variation. Difference between mutation and variation. Mutation it is sudden heritable change in the genetic material of an organism, whereas variation it is the structural difference that provide individuality to each member of a species. Mutation. The various factors like UV rays, X-ray, gamma rays, and different chemicals are responsible for mutation. Whereas in variation, the various factors like structural and functional difference of organism, difference of genes, environmental factors like food, light, temperature, etc. are responsible for variation. By this we have completed notes of this unit, evolution. I hope this video was useful to you. If you like this video, please share among your friends and don't forget to subscribe. If you have any queries, drop the comments in the comment section. See you on next video. Thank you.